That little girl doesn't see stereotypes. She doesn't see danger. She sees what matters. Someone who needs to understand the importance of respect, of kindness, of responsibility. Maybe she was yelling because the motorcycle was too loud. Maybe she was protecting someone she loved. Maybe she was simply standing up to something she believed was wrong. Whatever her reason, she became the voice of fearless honesty. She became the reminder that courage starts young. In that moment, the biker doesn't lash out. He doesn't bark back or show dominance. Instead, he listens. He bends to her level, physically, emotionally, humbly. And while his jacket might say he belongs to a brotherhood feared by many, his smile and his eyes reveal a man who respects strength wherever it appears, especially strength rooted in innocence. This moment is an example of what our world desperately needs: the ability to pause. The ability to humble ourselves. The ability to recognize that even the smallest voice can carry the greatest truth. Society teaches us that the loudest engine rules the road, but life teaches us that the most powerful words can come from the smallest mouth. We judge books by covers every day. A man with tattoos, dangerous. A leather vest, trouble. A biker gang, stay away. But look again. Sometimes the ones who look the toughest are the ones most ready to protect. Sometimes the ones who appear fearless are waiting for someone, anyone, to treat them like a human being instead of a headline. And who better to remind them of humanity than a child? Children are not born with prejudice. They are not born with biases. They are not born afraid of someone who looks different. They respond to actions, to behavior, to energy. So when this girl shouted, she didn't do so from hate, she did so because her heart told her it was right. She spoke with the kind of moral clarity adults spend their whole lives trying to recover. We grow up, we learn fear, we learn stereotypes, we learn to stay silent even when something needs to be said. We learn to avoid confrontation, to keep our heads down, to let wrongs go unanswered because standing up feels risky. But courage is unfiltered, courage is loud, courage points fingers when necessary and says, stop. At some point in life, every one of us needs to remember that we once had that same courage. That once, we were unafraid to challenge what seemed bigger than us. That once, we saw the world not in categories but as people, good people, bad people, confused people, people capable of change. That biker kneeling down in front of the little girl, he sees something in her expression that reminds him of who he used to be. Before the tattoos, before the battles, before the world told him to become hard. In her eyes, he sees honesty. And honesty demands respect. And that is the real twist to this story. Who is teaching whom? Because maybe the biker thought he was powerful. Maybe he believed that strength was his identity. But in one bold moment, a little girl showed him a different kind of strength, the kind that doesn't rely on the sound of an engine or the size of a motorcycle. The kind that lives in the heart. The kind that doesn't hesitate. This story shows us that strength and compassion must walk together. Either one alone is incomplete. What good is power if you can't use it for good? What good is toughness if your heart goes numb? What good is a fearsome reputation if a child's voice can melt it away? The image of this biker listening to this tiny human being is a lesson for us all. Respect isn't about who is bigger. Respect isn't about who looks tougher. Respect is earned in the way we acknowledge others, especially those society often overlooks. This little girl is a protector. She doesn't know it, but she is fighting for the quiet ones. Fighting for peace. Fighting for understanding. She is telling the world that even giants must answer to what is right. And the biker, he becomes the student. He becomes the one learning. He shows that true strength is not in showing power, it's in showing humility. It's in knowing when to listen. It's in letting someone else have the final say, even if that someone is just a child. Let us take this story into our own lives. Let us ask ourselves, when was the last time we spoke up, even when others didn't? When was the last time we defended someone smaller, weaker, or unheard? When was the last time we set aside ego and listened with our hearts? Because the world needs more voices like hers. Voices that rise without fear. Voices that call for better behavior, louder compassion, and deeper respect. We need children who are brave enough to yell. We need adults wise enough to hear. Imagine if more of us acted like that little girl, if we pointed at injustice and demanded accountability. If we didn't shrink when someone looked intimidating. If we didn't silence ourselves because the world told us to back down. Imagine if more tough-looking bikers, more hardened men and women, let their guard down long enough to feel, to laugh, to care, to listen. we would discover that beneath leather and steel, beneath noise and reputation, lies a heart capable of kindness. Two forces met that day, innocence and intimidation. And innocence won, not by force, but by truth. This is not simply a story about a biker and a child. This is a message to every human being who believes power only comes from fear. To every person who thinks they must roar to be heard. To every adult who underestimates the wisdom of youth. The next time you hear a child speak, don't dismiss them. Don't rush them. Don't assume they have nothing important to say. Listen, because children often see the world more clearly than we do. Their courage is still intact. Their hearts are still open. Their voices still carry truth without filters. And the next time you see someone who looks intimidating, don't judge them by their appearance. Sometimes the fiercest protectors look like the scariest fighters. Sometimes the kindest souls wear the roughest exteriors. Change happens when we allow moments like this to shape us, moments that remind us that humanity is found in unexpected places. A little girl yelled, and the world paused. A biker froze, and in that pause, respect was born. Fear dissolved. A connection formed. A lesson was learned. We must remember this. Courage doesn't wait to grow up. Kindness doesn't need permission. Respect doesn't care about size. Strength listens. Strength learns. Strength knows when to stop and pay attention. That little girl proved that even the wildest storms can be calmed by the quiet truth of a brave heart. And that biker proved that even the toughest people have a soft place inside them, waiting to be reached. So let this moment guide us forward. Let us be fearless in our compassion. Let us be bold in our honesty. Let us be willing to shout for what is right, no matter who stands before us. Because sometimes the world changes when a child raises her voice. And sometimes the strongest people in the world are the ones who stop to listen.